And we are now live.
What's going on, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Just closing out the semester.
Yeah, you must be excited.
I am excited.
Last one.
Yeah. And that's why we're doing this podcast because I have a really cool professor who said you don't have to write a boring 7 to 10 page term paper if you don't want to. You could do a podcast, and that's when I thought my brother does a podcast.
How about that?
So I thought we'd talk about a little article I found about I found it on scientificamerican.com talking about how ever since the pandemic, like now babies are wearing masks in preschool. This specifically the article was about a 2-year-old and concerns. Is that I feel like that's premature for preschool, though, right?
2 years old? Yeah, you're not in preschool. 2 years old.
It says right.
Typically.
My daughter's friend was recently alarmed when she was told that her 2-year-old must wear a mask in preschool.
Wow.
Maybe
okay.
this is just like a very precocious kid, but
I wonder if it's like a daycare / preschool kind of
yeah,
thing.
I don't know, but so either way,
Yeah.
we're talking about like babies, preschool, like that age. There's still very much a lot of language to be acquired in their young lives. So yeah, and now they're going. If it's preschool, we'll say that they're there for, regularly Monday through Friday, like a 9 to 5 type job. So let's just call it 40 hours a week, like where they're wearing a mask and everyone around them is wearing a mask, and that's like really detrimental to their speech and their language development because they can't see other people's faces and other people can't see their faces, which definitely hinders communication.
Yeah.
And faces they're such a complex and rich source of social, emotional, and linguistic signals. So they're being robbed of that, and essentially, like the daughter's concern in the article, the mother of the infant, was fearing for her kid to she's not going to be understood as well, or
Yeah.
or be able to understand others, because if you can't, like, everything's muffled through the mask and whatnot.
Right, yeah.
So
So it's screwing up the visual and the audible.
yeah, well, for an example, like in this class, like this language class I'm taking, psychology of language, we learned about like phonemes, which is just basically like kind of like how, like, the sound in a word that like distinguishes meaning from a different word. So like for instance, like if a baby were to hear the word tap versus tab, like those, like the ends, like the tab and the tap, like, are like that's like the phonetic or phonemic, I don't know, maybe that's not a word, but that's like the phoneme of like that word, where when you have the mask and like someone's trying to say tab or tap, like distinguishing those two words like through a mask
becomes harder.
Yeah, and
That's interesting.
so like that's like a finer detail, but like that's something that like the mask would hinder, whereas like you could hear that emphasis more on the end of those words.
Yeah.
And also like the article talked about how, like, I guess babies, they start to read lips like around 8 months. Like
I still read lips.
Yeah, I read lips too. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like it's like a very imperative skill, I guess. Like
Yeah.
when you're like trying to acquire language, because in a normal world you wouldn't see the mask, so you could like use that lip reading to like further reinforce the language you're learning and the words you're picking up and like all that.
Right. Like
But-
the visual and the audio.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, go together.
Exactly. But that's not existent right now. So
It's got to be tough on development.
yeah, no, definitely. So, because like, yeah, so when you don't have the ability to read lips, communication's even more difficult. And so, yeah, then you can't. Can we pause this?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
I mean, we're still live.
oh, that's cool. All right. I was just gonna like go
Okay.
somewhere with that, and I'm like, all right, yeah. I'm just like, I feel like I was going somewhere with the lip reading and the. Yeah, it's just more difficult. Because yeah, you can't the article mentioned, like, in times when communication is more difficult, they rely on lip reading. So
Oh,
like
okay.
so yeah, so I was getting confused because like like communication is difficult with the mask, but there's other times like in normal life, like if you were in a loud arena or whatever, and like
Yeah.
you were trying to like, or like at a bar or something, like talk to someone in a loud environment,
Yeah.
like communication is difficult, but you can still see their lips.
Yeah. So that helps.
So then you could rely on that more to pick up what they're saying and get the meaning of what they're saying to you.
Plus, they're wearing a mask.
Yeah. So now like the mask just totally eliminates that option. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know. I thought this article was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to communicate when you're 8 months old.
Yeah, no, I know, right? Yeah, and even this was interesting too. Like even with just seeing faces, like as an infant, you still obviously you're soaking everything up. Like you still a lot to learn. You're brand new to this world. Like even with just seeing faces normally, like distinguishing what a facial expression can mean can be kind of tough because sometimes there could be overlap with like a smile could mean like I'm happy, I like you, or I'm embarrassed. Like you
Yeah.
like all those are two very like different things, like especially like I'm embarrassed versus like I like you or like I'm happy, like like
Yeah, those are two very different things.
yeah, like
but the difference is very subtle, but it's hard to
yeah,
pick up with that mask on.
yeah, exactly. Like the difference is subtle, and so like, and like I think it's even difficult for them like if they were wearing a mask. So then you throw that in there, and it's really screwing things up. So yeah, I don't know, it's tough. It was a very interesting article though.
Yeah,
And
it sounds it.
yeah, and I like I didn't realize how crucial the lip reading is too because I guess it's like way more. It's proven to like there's studies that have like proven that were linked through the article that have shown babies have better language skills like when they have better lip reading skills.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like it kind of like builds off of one another because
Yeah.
like, and it's such a crazy like I don't know like I can't imagine being 8 months old. You just have so much to learn, like so much to take in, like just to get to like grow up to be a normal kid, like who
Yeah.
has, So like if you lose out on a year now of like wearing masks, or just over a year now, like you start to become behind the eight ball, and then like you really,
Yeah, it's gonna set you back pretty hard.
yeah, well, yeah, developmentally, I mean, like there's from the time you're like born to like 3 years old. I mean, like literally, like you're learning like something crazy every month, like
Yeah.
like you can walk like 6 months ago, all of a sudden you're walking,
It's
you're
like,
up and
whoa.
about, yeah, you're picking stuff up, you're like telling things you want to like your parents, you're
Pointing
like
and making noises.
yeah, exactly, yeah. I don't know, and like another thing I thought was interesting too is that like speaking of like talking to your parents or like trying to like communicate with
Yeah.
um like the mask, it hinders because like pairing a person's voice to like their face is like really important, like for the baby to be able to like learn, and then you can't do that with the mask, because like you can still
like social signals.
yeah, well, in not just that, but like the same way like you learn language through like hearing it through repetition,
Yeah.
and also like consistency and repetition, and like in like seeing the same objects and like the same things are like you start to over time you like realize like what something means, like if you were to be put to bed at like 2 p.m. for a nap every,
Yeah.
like if your mom came in the room and said like nap time, even though like you still don't speak, you're soaking the language up, but she comes in and says like okay, nap time, and then like she grabs you, like picks you up out of your like whatever your chair if you're at like having lunch.
Takes the fork and knife out of your hand.
Having Cheerios at the little high chair thing, and then she like walks you to the crib, and if she does that every day, like you start to learn, like when she says nap time, like you eventually you attach meaning to those words,
Right.
and then you know what's going to come of that, like you have the words and then the meaning, and then like you kind of sync them together.
Yeah.
So like the same way with a person's voice and their face, like if you can't like see, I mean, you can see their forehead and their eyes a little bit, but like the whole, the whole shooting match, you can't see all that. So like you're not as likely to be able to know who's talking. Like even though you may hear the voice and it's muffled, but you hear the voice, you're not gonna know or be able to pick up as easily like, oh, that's so and so is talking, you know,
Hmm.
like because you can't see the whole voice, the whole face, and like hear their voice at the same time and have that like, yeah, just really correspond with one another. So I thought that was another interesting point brought up in the article, which shout out to this article. It's very interesting,
Yeah.
off Scientific American, and very relevant too
Yeah, I was just
in our
thinking about
time.
my own experience. Like you go to the grocery store and you check out and you talk to the cashier and it's like it's harder to like pick up on, like are they being friendly? Are they having a
Yeah,
bad day? Like
yeah,
and understand like just those social cues. And I mean, I'm
mhm.
not 8 months old. I'm 25. Like
Yeah, but
it's
like
still difficult.
so that's what makes me wonder too, like developmentally, like down the line, how because those years or so those months are crucial at
Yeah.
their age to further down the line, like have a certain level of like language skills and like speech skills and lip reading skills
Yeah.
apparently too, which I didn't even realize until I read this. um yeah, you wonder like what that's going to look like long-term effects, like when you're at the grocery store and you can't tell if like the clerk is smiling or if they're like they're angry, they're happy, they're sad, or what, like
Yeah.
because you don't get that. Again, you're robbed of those all those linguistic signals that are like uh
Yeah, you wonder when
telling through the
like
face.
kids that are like, between say 8 months and like 4 years of age right now, like how this is going to affect their, let's say, like reading and writing skills in third grade when it comes time that they're in third grade.
Yeah, that's a
Like
good point too.
I think it's probably going to have lasting effects.
Yeah,
I guess that'd be hard to measure, but like
I'm sure, I'm sure there's a lot of like this article was written on published on February 11th of this year, so like
okay.
not even 3 months ago. But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of like scientists out there who have been busy with new developments of like, oh man, like it's been this long a time now with the masks, like how is it going to affect this and now this
Hmm.
and this. So like this is just, in the grand scheme of things, like this is just one thing of like infants wearing masks, Monday through Friday, like full time or whatever.
Hmm.
So, and it was they talked about how to kind of combat that, like it's all the more important when you get the FaceTime to like really like for this lady to speak with her child and like and really
Yeah.
like be in their and like make sure they're exposed to like a lot of language and like speech and just really around that. So it's almost like kind of more work on the parents too, like it's more,
Yeah.
it's not just like you're not doing it to like make sure they're exceptionally well at language, you're just trying to like stay at even keel, like just because they're not getting that normally, so you got to like go the extra effort to like just try to keep them at a normal pace for development,
Hmm.
into their later years.
Yeah.
um
Read extra books and like I see my sisters-in-law with their kids and
oh yeah,
like
they're all
it,
like kind of that age,
oh
they're
yeah,
a
yeah,
little,
definitely. I mean, the oldest is 5 and the youngest is like 2 weeks old. So
damn,
there's
yeah,
8 kids in that range. So like it's very relevant. But like I see them all the time, like getting in their kid's face and like pronouncing things very like with a lot of emphasis, like dad da, like
yeah,
da da, like
yeah,
really trying to like get them to like enunciate and
yeah,
start to like get those words and like you can tell, you know, dad like they know what that means and stuff like that. Start to pick up names and like
yeah.
it's very interesting. But like to your point, if like the majority of language you're exposed to is from behind a mask, then you miss a lot of that.
Yeah, because like I was saying earlier with the phoneme example of like tap and tab versus
Yeah,
like
that's
ma-
got to be impossible for a kid.
like when you're 8 months, like if you see, I feel like at that point because they're so similar, like that's, I mean, I don't know this for sure, but it'd be my guess, like that's when lip reading becomes so important, like
Yeah.
around that age of like to just for those specific situations where like you have two words, different meanings, but like very similar in like how, the way they end in their pronunciation,
Yeah.
so it's like I don't know.
It's
um
like babies are fighting with one hand behind their back.
seriously, yeah, it's interesting.
That's tough.
I was going to say something else here too. I wrote down that was very interesting.
Yeah, what else does this article say?
Um,
Or did you learn about this phenomenon?
well, yeah, but like I wasn't expecting to find the lip reading thing. But I guess that's really crucial in our acquisition of like, language and meaning. I mean, I guess that makes sense because like I don't know, the mask is covering up like you don't need your nose for to learn language. So I guess it's covering up the most important part is the mouth. So like,
Yeah, but
uh,
even like your nose flares when you speak and say
oh
certain
yeah,
things and have
yeah,
certain emphasis. Like
yeah.
it's I feel like it's all one thing. Like
It's all
the
kind of
mouth is
connected. Yeah,
like lip reading in the mouth is definitely the most
yeah,
important. But like you can still pick up cues. Like even now, like at the grocery store, you see somebody and like you smile at them, you can see like their eyes like squint a little
yes,
bit.
yeah. No, I'd look for
Like
the eyes. Yeah,
so like I don't know. I'm sure your nose does something too that you would notice if you only had a nose window. You know?
yeah. That's true. That's true. That's a good point. And
So
that play on some kind of like way to learn
yeah,
language. Yeah, yeah,
and that obviously smiling is not really language, but it's
yeah.
a
But well, it's like
connected idea.
yeah, yeah. But well, it's gonna play into communication as a whole though like of
Yeah,
like yeah I mean not necessarily like yeah language acquisition like specifically but I don't know for a baby to like they're gonna learn like when they see like a smile like make good things follow maybe like you're just gonna start to like I feel like that's how they probably learn to like feel like moods and like read situation
yeah,
of like if people are happy and smiling around them like it's like everyone's in a good mood like there's like celebrations like things along those lines whereas like if you're everyone's like kind of like the opposite of that like everyone's angry like you're gonna notice it because like people aren't gonna be celebrating like
yeah.
then you're gonna get to like kind of pick up on that I don't know interesting
That's a good point.
um dude another thing like babies growing up learning two languages like bilingual babies
Yeah,
doesn't that sound nuts that's a
that
thing
sounds impossible.
no
I had a
so
hard time enough with one language.
no so the article referenced Spanish and Catalan learning infants. Have you heard of Catalan?
I haven't.
It's actually just, I'm not sure if that's a language.
Catalan.
A native of Catalonia? Is that a
Yo, I've
country
never heard of
country I'm not
Catalan.
aware of? Wait, let's see. Oh, it's autonomous community of Spain. Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, so maybe it's a dialect of like Spanish or a kind of Spanish.
Well, at least it's not like Spanish and French. That'd be tough. But yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like it's within the borders of Spain.
Um. So, but no, the article referenced specifically um, Spanish and Catalan learning infants begin lip reading around 8 months as well. Um, so like Spanish like learning and then Catalan learning, but there's also like I guess bilingual Spanish and Catalan learning. Like they speak both or they learn both. Learning infants rely more on lip reading to keep the languages apart and
Hmm.
those social cues rather than monolingual babies. So like again, like the lip reading aspect of it. So like, I mean, this article it wasn't. I don't think the 2-year-old who was being referred to at first is a bilingual baby. I'm sure there's not too many out there, but like, is a thing where like if you are parents in like maybe of different cultural backgrounds and you want to like raise your kid to learn like both languages and like know like both like cultures like and you want to teach them both languages like the mask thing like at school is that's it's not happening though
Hmm.
like so I get even and then at home like if you're trying to like teach them both languages oof that's a lot of FaceTime you got to give them like
Yeah, it becomes really tough. I can't
yeah
imagine trying to distinguish between, like, I imagine Catalan and Spanish are like similar
yeah
in
yeah
some
I think
regards. Like, I
yeah
can't imagine trying to distinguish from behind a mask and trying to learn both of those at the same time.
Yeah, like from my understanding, like Catalan was like a dialect of Spanish. Or, well, it showed around Barcelona areas where it was spoken. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just makes me wonder, like, how that'll manifest itself, as they get older. And can we pause again? Can this be another edit? Can this be another edit point?
Cut.
I'll try. I'm not like I'm trying to like if there's only 2 things you have to edit, I feel like that's not too bad, right? Where you can just
It's not a big deal.
lop off. Yeah, it's not like I'm going like fucking up every 30 seconds, I'm trying to like think of how I can work in this morpheme shit, like because I feel like that look good.
Do you want me to ask you the difference between morphemes and phonemes?
Yeah, because that'd totally flow into what we were just talking about. Yeah, babies, bilingual babies, and no. Well, let me just like scroll through the article here real quick again, and then see if I can find something.
Sure, dude. This is we're in the green room right now of the podcast that your professor's going to see.
We're in the,
We're just hanging out.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
He doesn't have to see this edition.
No, it doesn't.
Can you imagine if he like finds it on YouTube somehow, even though you send him the link to the podcast? He's like, wait a minute.
He seems like a cool dude. I wish I had like, of all the classes I have like in person, I wish I had like, he's the only one I don't have in person. I wish I did. Seems like an interesting guy. He trains dogs,
Really?
professionally. He's like, I think he's gone around the world with them.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like some kind of like certified like judge, like yeah, no, he's like legit. He's like,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Dogs, judge, and language.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's quite an eclectic group of things.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat.
Interesting cat.
His name's David Bozak. He sends his emails dab. He sends funky emails too. He's like, his personality kind of comes through the email. It's just dope. He doesn't like talk like a dry fart like some business professor.
Yeah, dry farts are the worst.
It's better than a wet fart though.
It's better than a wet fart. I rescind my comment. Retract.
Dude, Donovan has a class with Richard Skolnick, that dude.
Caterpillar Man.
Dick. No, he has no mustache anymore.
Oh, really? It's probably a good thing. It wasn't doing him any favors.
Yeah, he looks like he drives a white van.
He's probably the nicest guy in the world.
No, yeah, he is, dude.
Is he?
Well, yeah, because Donovan I'll have him on Zoom. I'll still fuck with him though, because Donovan will have his mic like muted.
Yeah.
But I'll just like pop in. I'll just be like, "Hey, Dick."
Dick. What's up, Dick?
Or I'll like
dicking around over there.
Or I'll talk right into the camera. Donovan's like folding laundries or whatever. I'll just be like, "Wait, can you go back there, Dick? I had a question on that last part." Sometimes I don't trust that mute button as much as we do.
It's pretty fickle.
It's just the click of one thing, man. There's very simple mechanics keeping you from like just exposing yourself.
One little bump and you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, Donovan's in trouble.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You can be graduating.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I hope so, depending on how this rest of this podcast goes. Oh, could you imagine? It'd be such a bummer.
No way.
Yeah, no way. I'm just like
I can transition this if you want. Like, no. Did you want to talk about phonemes and morphemes?
Because I don't have I can't speak on them that extensively. I don't, and it needs to relate to the article too. So how would I go about that? Like that's like, what's the significance of them? That's what I need to look up so I can find about how that would relate to being a deficit for babies in masks. What's the importance of morphemes like prefixes and suffixes?
Yeah, those have to be some. But like,
How does like a baby? I don't fucking know though, you know.
well, they don't. But I mean, the fact that they can't read lips and see, so like they're missing the morphemes and the phoneme. They're missing it all.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dumb motherfuckers.
stupid babies. You fucking idiots.
Fucking dumbass baby.
You just...
Oh, base words are also okay. So prefixes, suffixes, and base words. Okay, I could turn that into something.
Could spin this up.
I might be able to pump out 40 seconds here, dude. Tack it on.
What more do you need?
Yeah, right. We totally could have read a 7-page paper by this time, right?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but we're 26 minutes in right now.
Oh, and there's probably like 6 minutes of editing time.
If I had to guess.
Wait. Yeah, I've been talking fast. I'd kind of just been like just reading my notes almost verbatim. I don't know. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
That part's gonna get edited out, right? I've been reading my notes verbatim.
Just gonna sabotage your class. Just in the middle of the whole thing, we're just gonna leave in, "Hey, Dick."
Oh my god!
What is so phonemes,
dude? Yeah, but you leave that guy with a great story. Maybe one of the greatest of his teaching career.
Yeah,
he'd never forget that.
He probably wouldn't, dude. You know, like 5 years from now, after you graduate and you're gone, you should send him the YouTube link. It's like, this is how it actually went.
Dude, I love people giving people a good story to tell. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It is a word or a part of a word that has meaning. Okay.
The morpheme.
Yes. Cannot be divided into smaller.
So like the tag and tab example, like B and the G, like those wouldn't be morphemes, that'd just be phonemes because there's no meaning inherently to a singular G or a singular B.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Just found a good one. Understand. Understand doesn't mean stand under. It means to comprehend. But when you break it down, it's just under and stand. You know? So like when you break it down, the meanings of those words don't mean what the word together is trying to communicate.
Right. So it gets broken down in a different way?
Yeah. So like understand together means like, do you understand? Do you comprehend this? But then like when you break down like understand, you break them apart. Like under has its own meaning of like, no, it's under there, or like stand over here. Like it doesn't mean stand under. So like, why is that significant? Like, why do you need to know that? If you're a baby trying to acquire language.
Yeah, you're probably not picking up on that.
What's the importance of like? I feel like that's a.
So we're trying to relate all this to the masks in the school, right? Basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So like, I'm also kind of just still trying to figure out like why they would need to know that to begin with, or like need to be able to learn that, you know, that like understand doesn't mean under and stand, and how does that relate to? Maybe yeah. If it doesn't make sense, we could just honestly end it like where we did. I think I have about enough time, but I said phoneme, so that's good. I said it. Phoneme. 100 points.
Can I get a phoneme? give me a phoneme.
Like to buy a vowel.
Like to buy morpheme.
I'd like to buy a B minus. And be on my way. I don't need to play the bonus round. I'll just go. I'll leave.
B on my way. As long as I get to pass, we're good. No prizes. It's fine.
Cat is a free morpheme. Now types of morphemes. No, I'm not. Derivational morphemes. Go fuck yourself.
This is intense.
Lexical morpheme. Yeah, dude, try reading that fucking book I read. Parts of it were interesting though, like learning about various Creole like spoken throughout the world. That was very interesting. But then you get into like this very. It's like if language were numbers, like, and like basically these are all just different operations, like square root and shit. And,
Yeah.
And taking the parabola of blah blah blah. Like, I don't know.
Quadratic equation.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, do you remember? You ever see Superbad?
Yeah, of course.
MK and I watched it recently. The Hill or the scene where Jonah Hill is like comes into home ec class with the teacher.
Yeah.
He's like, partner's not here. Expect me to do this all by myself. No offense, but like this class is a fucking joke, and like I'm just trying to graduate, and like just give me a fucking break. Sorry for cursing.
I don't remember that.
Dude, that scene was so funny. That should be inserted at the end of the podcast.
Dude, I remember like when he comes into home ec, but I think when he's talking about that girl. Like she wants my dick in and around her mouth.
No, I think that's when he runs onto the field. When
that's also that. Oh,
playing,
you're right. Yeah,
Evan's playing soccer. He's like out of breath and shit.
You're right. Yeah. P and the G. Like she wants it. She wants it. Wait, I gotta see this though. Now that you're talking about
the home ec scene.
But she's never here, and I don't get twice the grades for doing all the work. I didn't invent odd numbers, Seth. I know, but look at him, okay? Just look at him. Hey, don't keep me waiting much longer. I'm getting impatient up here. You know what I'm talking about. I'm over here in my unit, isolated alone, eating my terrible tasting food, and I gotta look over at that. Looks like the most fun I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's BS. Excuse my language. I'm just saying that I wash and dry. I'm like a single mother. Look, we all know home ec is a joke. No offense. It's just like everyone takes his class to get an A. It's bullshit. And I'm sorry. And I'm not putting down your profession, but it's just the way I feel. I don't want to sit here all by myself cooking this shitty food. No offense. And I just think that I don't ever need to cook tiramisu. When am I going to need to cook tiramisu? Am I going to be a chef? No. There's 3 weeks left of school. Give me a fucking break. I'm sorry for cursing.
That's hilarious. I've never seen that before.
Dude,
that was a long rant.
Yeah, it was. When am I gonna need to cook tiramisu? I'm sorry. Everyone takes home ec. Just get a fucking A. 3 weeks in school. Just give me a fucking break. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. All right.
It's hilarious.
Let me just
pretty much every niche class at the end of the school year.
Yeah, right. Let me just do a little bit more Googling and then I'll make a decision. Or I might just call it.
Dude, MK actually just texted me with a fun fact. I don't know if maybe
about morphemes?
It's related actually. She said that you know what Botox is?
Yeah.
So people get like injections in their face and their lips and stuff.
Yeah.
And it like stiffens them up. And so there's some science to support that people who get Botox are less likely to experience the full range of human emotion because their faces are like stuck. So like they can't smile as much. And you know how like if you like it goes both ways. Like if you smile, you feel happier, and if you feel happier, you smile.
Yeah.
So like if you can't smile as much, you don't feel as happy. That's the idea.
That is so fucking.
Isn't that
sad.
crazy?
That's really fucking sad.
Yeah, but your face looks like it's been stretched out over your head.
Yeah, which I feel like isn't a good look. Like,
dude, it's so weird. Like people who have too much Botox are like, whoa, you need to take it easy there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about.
Just take it easy, man.
Whoa, just take it easy. Say that again. Whoa, just take it easy. You want to be in the movie?
Dude.
Damn, that is fucking really like depressing. But I mean, like, just don't get Botox to start with. But yeah, that fucking.
Well, then I'm gonna look all old and wrinkly, and then my friends are gonna make fun of me, Connor.
That's fucking sad, dude. Wow.
have to get Botox in order to upkeep my image.
I've only ever seen, like, when I think Botox, I just think of, like, black dudes with big lips. Like, that's all
Meanwhile, it's like rich white chicks that get Botox is like the majority of it.
Yeah. Maybe
That's actually hilarious.
That's all I think of.
Yeah.
That's literally all I think of.
Maybe black dudes just have natural
Maybe
Botox.
they do, yeah. They might just have naturally big, but I feel like I've seen some guys with small lips, and then like I've definitely seen like guys like walk around like, yeah, I got a big lip, like they're like showing up,
like Bubba.
Yeah. I remember
boiled shrimp, fried shrimp.
No, I remember, dude, when I worked with that moving company with Bob, the black guy.
Bob, yeah.
Do you remember he fell asleep in my car?
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I remember showing you that picture, and you're like, he's like, and you're like, look at his little bubble lip, just because he's just hanging. It's one of the funniest pictures I've ever had.
Just the bubble lip.
They're like borderline drooling. There's like literally a glare off his lip, like his inner lip.
Dude, I mean,
shining.
As you probably drool more often. If your lip's heavy, your mouth's more open, it just kind of falls out, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Your lip becomes top heavy.
It's more weight.
Dragging you down, dragging that drool right out of your mouth.
More weight in the lips.
Bubba.
All right.
Holy shit.
Research has shown that this one does not rely on hearing sound. Oh, why is morphology important to language? It's at the lowest level. Okay, so it helps them make meaning to words, but how can I relate that back?
What does?
Morphemes.
You just start by how kids aren't able to pick up on it as much without lip reading, and that's how they assign meaning to words. So like they lose the meaning when they don't have masks. Yeah,
I kind of think a combination of the lip reading and also the hearing the word like crystal clear as well. If it gets muffled, then they might not hear it. Understand might not clearly be like, oh my god, that's like under and stand. It might just kind of like blob into like one, like, and the kid's not able to like separate the morpheme or which they're not like obviously thinking about that, but like picking up on that helps them to so I could say like picking up on the morphemes in words through hearing the words clearly and coupled with the lip reading allows them to further like give meaning to those words, I'll say. And it's hindered because obviously the lip reading is no longer a thing with the mask on, and then it gets muffled through the mask. So you're not hearing the word as clearly, and maybe you can't distinguish the morphemes and like. Sounds okay.
Ready for me to lobby that softball dude?
Seriously. No, you don't even need a lobby. I'll just start. So,
but the thing about we left off, you were saying like it's crazy to think how it like affects them developmentally. It was like how
I think the last thing I said was we were talking about the languages though. I think that's what the last thing I remembered is we were talking about like bilingual babies versus like in Spanish. Like so, I felt like we were just kind of way out here, and I'm like I don't know how to bring that back.
Well,
so like, and I was just kind of listing shit like at random order, anyways. So like, I could just say like, and another thing, like like instead of what were you thinking?
We ended on like talking about that, but more specifically, the last like literal words that were said was like it's crazy how that's going to affect them developmentally. We're talking about
do remember you saying
because
that,
of that, and so I was going to say like I could say like it is wild to think about how that's going to affect them developmentally. Like how else do you think the masks are going to affect?
Yeah. Let me type this out just so like well no, because I don't want to make more work for you and have to like have another edit point though. Like if it's only two things you got to edit, then I don't want to make it a third. You know,
it's not a big deal at all.
Right, but if
if we start getting up to like 20 cuts, then I might say something to you. Like,
dude.
you're gonna fail this class. Sorry,
No, well,
but-
this
sorry
is the
about your
last
luck.
thing. This is the last thing, and then we're done. So, yeah, because it's just a matter of like dragging, like right, but like the time, yeah,
super
and then
easy.
just cut. Yeah,
Super
okay.
easy.
All right. Let me just see. I'll make a note. Why did I open? I did not need to open a Google Doc for that. So, here we go. Notes, sticky notes. Babies. Helpful for babies to attach.
I'm trying to see which podcast I looked up on. Podcast has 4 ratings.
I might have been one of them.
Probably. I only got 4 people that listen to it, so. Fantastic.
Actually, I think I tried to read something about. I don't post it.
Greatest guests of all time. So I have up to 23 on here.
All on Podbean.
Yeah. On all the podcast apps. On YouTube, I think I've done like 25 or 6. Actually, no. Is this the 25th one? Your channel. Oh, dude, we're live right now. How about that?
Oh shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit. Morphemes and words are helpful for babies to attach meaning to words and acquire language. But, okay. Yeah, I think that's all I really want to say. And then I can say. But. They're not masks. Muffle. Sound. Words. Wait. Session. Words.
We'll do some ASMR while we're
I'm almost done.
We're waiting.
Real close.
ready.
I bet that sounded really good to someone.
I hope so. One more time for your listening pleasure. Oh, cream fraiche. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna deglaze that pan.
Please the fuck out of that pen.
Oh, this is so silly.
All right, understand. It's going to be an example. Understand. Okay, and then we're done. Understand. No, that to reinforce. Okay,
Ready to rock?
I'm ready to rock. Hey, you gonna ask me a question or what we gonna do?
Yeah,
All right, cool.
when you're ready.
Yeah, the developmental one. Yeah, sure. All right, man.
Yeah, it is crazy to think about how masks are affecting like the development of children and just with not being able to read lips and stuff. Like how else do you think it's gonna like how else do you think masks affects language for babies?
Well, so like there's these things called we learned about morphemes in class, and through reading this book, The Language Instinct by Steven Pinker. And they're really helpful for babies to attach meaning to words and further acquire language. But like the masks is now like they're not able to pick up on the morphemes as easily because the masks are like muffling the sounds, and it's not as clear and like clear cut of like a pronunciation of like where the morpheme is in those different words or where the multiple morphemes may be in the word.
Wait, so what is a morpheme though?
So like a morpheme is basically like I was gonna use the example understand. Like
Okay.
understand means like do you comprehend what I'm saying? Do you it's hard to use like without like but do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Comprehend,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Comprehend, yeah. It's a synonym there. But then like within that you have the word under and stand. And like under like oh it's under the table, like that's where the apple is under the table. Or like can you stand, like we're standing in line for the movie. Like so each of those morphemes, like they both have their own separate meaning, but when you put them together, like in the word understand, they take on a new meaning. Like do you comprehend that? So basically like when babies are able to like pick up on that, the difference between them and that there's a morpheme there, it helps them further like reinforce the learning of like what those words mean and how they're used. So like they'll know. I don't know. Like I think it's the morphemes help. They help distinguish like how they know if the word is being used for like the definition of like understand. Do you comprehend what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus like oh like under, like they might recognize the word from understand, but like if it's used as like under, oh it's under the table, like then they'll be able to distinguish it. So I think it's kind of like just a further reinforcement of being able to keep separately like which words go with which meanings, or which meanings go with which words rather.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of just like I think it's just like another like technique or tactic for babies to further like develop their lexical or lexicon,
Right.
and further their language acquisition like process.
I feel like understand is probably a weird one because it's like a compound word, right? That's not the sum of its parts. Like it doesn't mean to stand under something.
Exactly.
But like,
yeah.
So it sounds like a phoneme is just like a morpheme is just a section of a word that has like some kind of meaning in it, right?
A section of a word that has some kind. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
I would assume like an easier morpheme for a baby to grasp might be like pre, like meaning like before, like alluding to before. So like
yeah,
like previously or prevent or
yeah,
like I mean like babies probably aren't using the word previously, but like
yeah,
that
but they're like that's yeah, because that's different. Like I think because there's, and I don't understand it. We didn't like learn about all of them, but there's lots of different morphemes.
I imagine.
And so like that's like one that's consistent. It's like pre is in many different words. Like understand, it's like there's the word under, the word stand. You put them together, it's understand. Like there's nothing else. But pre can go on. Yeah, previously, preventatively, precautiously, or like all those like whatever. So yeah, that's like another technique, or like to be able to learn like attach meaning to words, and then, but like I said, so through the masks though, I mean, you can't like, relating to the example of understand, like you can't, it might just kind of get muffled all into one, like whereas under and stand are very like clear cut. Like I don't know. I would imagine that like that can kind of just get muffled out as like all one blurb, and like you don't really see or hear the two separate words that have separate meanings within those. So yeah, so I feel like that could be a barrier for communication. Like like when it comes time, like a baby's talking and like they're trying to use, one of those words that has morphemes in it, but they're like, if they're trying to speak it through a mask, it might come out as like two separate words, whereas it's not like the one word. I don't know, 'cause,
No, that makes
yeah,
sense.
right.
So like because of the mask, the babies can't pick up on the specific nuances and like it just sounds like one word to them. Like they
Yeah.
can't pick up on the patterns in the
Yeah.
language and like the patterns being those morphemes and what
Yeah.
they might mean.
And again, they like if they the lip read, because the lip reading's not a thing either anymore, like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
eliminated with the mask either. So like, and that helps like reinforce the awareness, I feel like, of picking up on those morphemes too, because it's like, yeah, there's no object, there's no friction like between speaking the word to the person and then like, but it's like going through that filter of the mask where that might muffle the sound and like the again like the phonemes, honestly, on the end of that word, like that you don't hear it, like under, like the under, and then stand, like you might, the under, like the transition between under, like the and stand like might not be as clear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. It just sounds like one big muffled mess.
yeah, it's hard to like articulate, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. So I that's definitely a barrier too, because morphemes definitely help babies in their language acquisition, for sure. But
Yeah, even something as simple as like, Cheerio versus Cheerios.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
just plural.
yeah,
Like being able to pick up on what that is. Like,
yeah,
I mean, like that's such a fundamental thing that
Yeah.
would be hard to.
one versus many, like But if
Yeah.
the mask again, like might kind of like block out part, you might not really hear that as too well.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have someone that like speaks clearly. Like I feel like that's probably something that needs to be going forward, like for the time being while we're in this pandemic and wearing masks, like that needs to be like really addressed and reinforced, that like make sure you're enunciating your words like as much as you can and like with emphasis, so it's clear and you have less misunderstandings between what you're trying to communicate, and also obviously like for the sake of what we're talking about, like babies' development and their language development, and because that's gonna set them up for their years later growing up. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's very very interesting though article overall. I mean, it's hopefully we're not in this thing too much longer, and we get out of it pretty soon, because it's definitely having like significant implications. But I'm hopeful that it's not going to be around for too much longer.
Yeah, we need to make sure our babies get developed.
Dude, we want to develop those babies and their language, specifically, because language is cool, and I mean that's how we communicate. So, gotta have that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this, dude.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Love languages and A's.
I love languages too.
And passing grades and graduating.
See ya. See ya. Oh man. I was like, yeah, let's get this. We're going the stretch.
Dude, we nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, we definitely didn't. But I think we nailed it enough.
We definitely didn't nail it.
I've had those tabs open on my computer. There's like those tabs for this project have been so far left on my like they've just been open forever. I can just finally close them out.
Goodbye. All done.
Yeah. Oh man, that felt great.
How many more like projects and finals and stuff you had before?
So like I just have a bunch of honestly, dude, like I have like this one 8 to 10 page paper that she hasn't really said anything about, and she doesn't even know. I emailed the TA and she doesn't even know if she's still keeping it as a project or an assignment. I'm like,
really?
It's due in like 10 days. I'm like, I'd kind of like to know, but that's like the biggest thing. Other than that, it's all just like PowerPoints, group. They're all like group projects. I have like three or four different like just where I put in a couple slides, present it, and then translate it into like 500 words on a doc.
Yeah.
Real smooth stuff. That's basically it. This was kind of like the only class. This and then my one other class was like the only class where I didn't have a group project. So this was like the equivalent of my group project, which the group projects are easy as fuck. Like, I mean, you just what we're presenting on is easy as fuck too. It's just to talk about. I just got to actually do it, and then I'll be done pretty soon. Yeah. Unless the only thing that would actually be time intensive or would be if I do have to do that 8 to 10 page paper. But
Yeah.
I don't know. For the most part, I'm done.
Damn, dude.
And then I still have a little work for this class. We just did this for I have like my finals. Like, you ever heard of Canvas? He uses this. He doesn't use Blackboard. He uses Canvas.
I haven't heard of Canvas.
Yeah. So like this
Heard of
is
Canva.
that's each module. Like, so like this has been each module. So like I don't know. There's none. But he's basically had like this is like an assessment week. This was the last week. You know, these are all due May 14th. So I've had like 2 other of those throughout this semester, and then so for this class, like I have to like write about discussion on dogs.
Dude,
and,
dog language.
Oh yeah, so hey, this is him referencing his. I compete in the sport of dog agility in the United States Dog Agility Association. He's a master's level judge in that organization.
That's wild. Oh, dude, I thought you meant judge, like a court judge.
Oh no,
A
sorry.
dog judge. Okay.
Yeah, dog judge. Yeah. Do you think
Sounds pretty judgmental.
my somewhat trained dog can understand language? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Nobody like. There's nothing under here because everyone waits till like Sunday night to do it.
Dog understand language. Understands hear and sit and roll over. So understands some language.
Yeah. I'll come up with something, and then just these assessments, and that's it. Those don't unlock until May 10th. Damn.
Wrapping up, dude.
Yeah.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I haven't really been thinking about wrapping up at all, really. I've totally been in marathon mode the past 48 hours.
I bet.
I like kind of switched over, and then I'm like, but I like have these like projects. I should do some work before the weekend, but I'm like, it's just
Running's more important though.
I'm just too amped, yeah.
I bet, dude.
Yeah. By the way,
Let me shut this off.
Yeah. I just need to get that to him by May 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. May 7th? Yeah, let's have something good for him, don't worry.
We'll have something.